Hello, this is Lolly, and today I have this design team project for Aunty Vera Scrap and Craft, and I'm going to make this up as I go along. I'm looking at this sheet that has the 4x6 cards. I really like this, but I want to make like a little booklet or a booklet card out of it. So what I'm thinking, like I said, I'm making this up as I go along, so bear with me. I have my craft blade. Let's see what we can do with this. I'm going to cut down the middle from this point down, leaving these the two top cards attached. And I do have a paper trimmer that will allow me to do this, but I don't want to get it out. So I'm going to do this. You know what I should have done was to cut this off first. Because I do like the bottoms of these papers, and I especially I like using them in crafts. So I like the little border strips, I like the patterns, I like the words on it, so I use those a lot. And I know I didn't cut that straight, but we'll have to make do there. Okay, so I've got that trimmed, and what I'm going to do next is to cut these two off right there. Okay, and put my lid on because I don't want to hurt myself. Now what I want to do is score, and I'm not even going to get my scoreboard out. I just need to give this a little impression there and give this a little impression here, right between all these cards. Whoop. I think I need to get that a little better. So you don't always need a scoreboard, and this is how I did it before I ever had a scoreboard. Okay, so I'm going to fold this one up and this one down, and then this will fold over. But first thing I know before I even do that is that with these cards folded up, they're going to come right on that fold line, making it difficult for this to fold in. So what I'm going to do to compensate is I'm going to trim a little sliver off of this whole side. Now I know that when I cut it, I didn't actually cut it very evenly, so I'm just going to correct that all at once and take a little piece of this off and see if that's enough to, oh, I did that again. I'm having a hard time keeping my my blade down, my ruler down on the table. Let's see now if this will help. Yes, it will fold beautifully now. Okay. So now what I've just done is I've kept most of that 12-inch card intact, only I have these 4 cards, and it makes this little fold-out card like this. I could keep this as the cover if I want and make that the card, or I could put another cover on it. But what I think I'm going to do is make this a pocket. So let me look at my papers. And I cut one down, a fish, I think because this seems to all have this fish theme. Wish we were fish, just keep swimming, and fish are friends, that I want to use this for my back cover. And I want to make sure that I have it going the right way. And then what I'm going to do is to glue just this part here and make a pocket. But I think before I do that, I want to give myself a little hole there, a little thumb notch, if you will. There we go. Okay, now let's get my paper glue out. And like I said, I'm just going to glue the top, the right, and the bottom. And I'm going to fix this piece on there, making sure that that's aiming the right way. And then I think I'll clip that on there until it's got nice and dry. Since I want this to be a really sturdy pocket, I don't want to have any chance of it coming undone on me. And I know that Scotch tacky glue does dry really quickly, so I'm very pleased with that. But I want to make sure that I'm squishing it down as it's drying, so that as it dries, it's actually adhering to itself. Okay, and then really I usually only let that stay about 10 minutes. I think it works really well. So then while I'm doing that, I'll think about this cover. I think that's a really cute pattern there with the seaweed. And I'm looking through to see what else I have. You know, a lot of these other words, they go vertically instead of horizontally. That's cute. I could cut this out and put that on there, but I also like this with another project that I'm going on. So it's a tough call. Let me see what else I have. Okay, I do have this, which was a longer card, but I cut it off going to use it for something else and it didn't fit. So that is actually perfect. And we got this ribbon in the kit, which I like, and this is one of the paper borders from the bottom of the paper. So I'm thinking about using those two together with this. Let's see. Okay, let's undo all this. Okay, so far what we have is this. And I have a pocket here. Now one thing too is if I had cut off these two cards instead of these two, then this would have been the front and this would have been the side that folded up. So it's whatever you want to do, whichever cards you want to work together. Okay. I really like this. Like I said, it just reminds me of seaweed. I think it's so cute. I don't know. I think this fish looks almost a little too busy, but I think I'm going to make it work. Where is my Fabri-Tac? I keep all my adhesives right here against my the back of my craft mat, and so I know you can't see it, but that's my messy area for putting all my adhesives, the liquid glues anyway. I do have some other runners and things that are not over there. Okay, I'm just going to put the Fabri-Tac across, sort of across the bottom. I think it'd be a great place for my fake seaweed. And I want to put the curls going up. Yes, I want the curls going up. And I know it's not seaweed. It just really looks that way to me. Okay. And then this little fish strip. And this little bit too long right here. You close the Fabri-Tac and get out the scotch again. Not the drink scotch, but the, you know what I mean. Okay. There. Alrighty. And that. Now I'm thinking. I think I will just put that next. I was thinking about another border, but I think I'll just put this on there. I did add a little bit of distress ink with the black soot distress ink just because it was, I was losing it into that white background and I couldn't see it well enough. So, okay, now let's put this on there. I'm just putting it on top of that one strip, and I'm not trying to center it particularly. Okay, now the other thing I'm going to need is something to go in this pocket. So I'm guessing this is 4x6, but you know, since I glued it, that means it's smaller. I'm thinking I want about 5.5, 5 3/4. I think I want my tag to stick out a little bit, or just the string. I don't know, 5.5. Let's go 5.5 with about 3. Let's make a tag for that. Okay, I found this in the kit. It was one of the border strips, I mean, a really long strip. And I like these little guys. They just crack me up. So they, I added a border from the set to be 3 inches wide, but it's a little longer than I had intended. But that's okay. I hate covering up the fish, but oh well. You know, you got to work with what you have. And I have a hard time with double-sided paper. I love it, but then I also feel frustrated that I have to cover up the other side. So there we go. And I wanted to have orange all the way around, but that was not going to work out because then it would be really too long. I am going to trim off the corners here and figure out what is the middle of this. Let's do it this way because I can see that way. 1.5 right about there. I just wanted to mark it and punch a hole here because I do want to add a little eyelet there. And it's got the green. No, it's a blue. Actually, let's put a blue one in there. Cool. Now I do have a handheld eyelet setter that I've had for years because I was sewing on fabric for many, many years. And that's the one I had for putting eyelets in fabric. So I still have that, but also for reaching far into projects, I have the Crocodile Big Bite, and I'll give you the video down below on how to use your Big Bite Okay, so that needs something. Is this too thick? It needs something to come off of there. Let's find some kind of ribbon. Well, I thought that was too thick, but now here I find myself wanting to use this. Now I know this is really thick, but I just want to experiment with this and see what it yields. So let me try this. I think I might not even be able to get it in here because of the thickness. Yeah, it's too thick. I just thought it had a nice sea quality to it, you know, kind of like fisherman's rope or something. I will put that aside for later, or I could just put it in and tie it on instead of doing the usual loop thing. That would work too, just to tie it in place. Or to do it like that and stitch across there, that would also work. I think I'll do that. Hold on. Oh yes, I like that. Now this is a really tiny zigzag stitch, and I just went back and forth out of that. I like it a lot. I like the, like I said, fisherman quality to it. This is a wired ribbon, so I think what I'm going to do is use these scissors here to trim them down a little bit at different lengths and at angles. Love it, love it, love it. Okay, so that will go in here, and I don't want to embellish it too much because I do want it to be able to slide in and out really well. And this is how much it's going to stick out. I did want the eyelet to stick out from it, and it's not a problem even to have the card look like that. I'm perfectly okay with that. I think I'm going to make an envelope for this. Let's see how that's going to work. And this will just get folded and put like that inside the envelope. This is what I usually do when I'm trying to figure out, I'm going to use a scrap from another video, when I'm trying to figure out how to make an envelope. So I want it to be a little larger than the card, so this card will slide in and out of it, and I want it to be a top-loading envelope in this case. So I'm thinking 4.5, 4 3/4 might be best. So I'm going to draw a picture. As soon as I find my pencil, here it is. Let's say this is the envelope. So I know I want it 4 3/4 wide. And then how high it should be 7 1/4 this way, that way. That's just the front of it, but I know I need flaps on my envelope. So I need the bottom flap to come up maybe there and a top flap down here, but then I need the sides to be able to fold in and overlap. So they need to be, the two of them together need to be over 4 3/4. So if we made this flap 2.5 wide and this flap 2 inches wide, that's not enough. That's 4.5. So let's make this 2.5, and then that will be 5 inches wide, which would mean they would overlap by 1/4 inch. Okay, so then we need to figure out this, the length of these flaps here. Okay, so that's going to add, let's put a bottom flap of 1/2 inch and a top flap of maybe 1 1/4 inch. Okay, so I've got 7 1/4 plus 1 1/4 plus 1/2, so 8.5, 9 inches total height, and the width would be 2.5, 5, 9 3/4 this way. That's going to be my paper. Let's see if that works. Okay, so I'm going to move this to the side so I can see what my score lines are going to be. This is it. Okay, so I usually figure all this calculation off screen. So let's do this now. 2.5 inches in. This is on the shorter side, 2.5 inches in. And then I want 2.5 inches this way. So let's see, 4 3/4 from here. So 2.5, 3.5, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. I think it's 7 1/4. I'm going to check that. Yes, yes, 7 1/4. So we've got 2.5, 7 1/4 this way. Rotate it, and then I'm going to do, I said, a 1/2 inch. And then at 7 3/4. Okay. Now let's see how that looks. Let me turn this over because I can see better this way. And I'm going to cut off the bottom, all the corner kind of rectangles here. So I want to fold them in, score, burnish these. And that one. Okay, so that's the envelope. Make sure that's going to fit. Yes. Oh, that is so cute. I just love these little submarines. Okay, so I'm going to glue this flap here. Oops. See, I only gave myself a 1/4 inch here to join this. So I'm going to go really close to the end, and I'm using my really fine point glue because I want to make sure I don't have glue squishing out or I'll seal the envelope shut, and I don't want to do that. So that's a 1/4 inch overlap. A 1/2 inch is probably better. Okay, and then I'm going to come down here and glue this whole bottom section up. Okay, and yes, I love liquid glue, especially on envelopes though, because if you use a tape runner, it never dries. It's always sticky. And then when you try to put your card in and out, it's sticking to the exposed tape runner on the inside. So that's that. Now, if I want to, I might be able to go ahead and use this on the envelope, but the white on white is getting lost, and I want to bring this out somehow. So let's see if I want to put it on red. That's really pretty, but I might do some red and black. So I got my scraps out. I'm thinking, should I center this on there and then do that there? I don't want so much paper that you can't see these though, so that's my dilemma. I was just thinking about using up the scraps. I know what I'll do. I know what I'll do. And I'll just glue, come on. I'm going to glue part of this on the one scrap. There we go. Like that. And then trim off that end. There. And now, I think a little more needs to come off of there. There. And now see about adding the black behind that. Let's see how that looks. Or maybe even this way. I like that. Okay, so now I'll glue this onto the black and then cut the black off around it. It's one way to use up my scraps in the shapes that they are without having to open up or get a brand new sheet of cardstock. Just to do it this way and just keep offsetting each layer as I go. You'll see my craziness right here. Like that. I like that. Okay, very cute. Can you see, if I put this on the white here, what that looks like? You got black around part and red around part. I like that a lot, and that's ready to go on the envelope. So like I said, I really wasn't sure where I was headed with this card. I just knew that I wanted to use those 4x6 papers with them attached to each other and not take them apart. I just thought that was really cute. Cute, cute, cute. Okay, put that aside. So again, I had to fold this in order for it to fit in the envelope, but that's easy for them to unfold and pull this out. As far as embellishing this, I would be very careful to add anything that's not paper, because of the thicker it is, then this won't fold over it. So this needs to be really flat. That said, we can add some glitter, we could add some glossy accents, and I am going to do that because I want to bring out the eyes in all of these little fish. I'm going to put my scissors here to hold it down while I do this. But I love the eyes on these fish. They just really pop out to me, and I'm going to zoom you in a little bit here so you can see better. There we go. There we go. Now that these little eyes are dry, and it really makes them almost look like googly eyes. I know you probably can't tell much here, but I thought I want to bring out some glitter in these starfish, and I'm going to use the same thing, and that is a fine line applicator with the glossy accents in it. I think what I want to do is just bring out, like, there's a lot of, let's see if I can zoom in a little bit. There are a lot of little dots here, and I'm not sure I'm going to, you know, perfectly match dots, but I will do some dots across there. And then I'm going to dip it in my ultrafine glitter, or microfine glitter. I started using microfine glitter years ago from what's it called? Art Glitter Institute or something like that. And I really fell in love with microfine glitters. I used to have an account with them, so I used to order a lot, and I have a variety of colors. But you know what I always keep coming back to the most is just the kind of the pearly or pearlescent whites. Okay, this is going to be really cute, and it'll add some interest without getting too much, too thick to where it won't fold up correctly. And almost a couple starfish left. I found that I use enough of the frosty white glitter that I can, I put it in a tub with a spoon, and I could just scoop it on there, and that's a lot better than just always having a lot of little shakers. Here's my little spoon here. It's one of those little ice cream spoons. When you go to an ice cream shop and they ask you if you would like a sample, and you say yes, they give you that on a spoon. Well, I just saved those spoons. There we go. Just trying to get that on everywhere that I put dots. I won't see the full effect of this until after it's all dry, but I will shake off the majority of it right now. I'm just being very gentle. I don't want to really dislodge the glitter, the glossy accents that I have on there. Okay, so that glitter has dried, and I just kind of shook off the excess. I'm trying to get the light to shine on it, but they're really, really tiny dots, so it's kind of hard for you to see. So I'm going to fold this back in, and I think I want to take some of the liquid pearls and just accent these waves a little bit. Let's see if I can get this going. I think I want to do some dots across here, and again around that way and around that way. Again, just to add a little tiny detail there that wasn't there before. So once that dries, I can put that in the envelope and we'll be ready to go. And I have it right here. I'm loving it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you got some ideas from that.